We should just get out of here. It isn't worth it, Sima said, her voice slow and tired. At this point, I think you're right. I don't feel right. And we're pretty much shielded from that thing by 50 meters of rock, electromagnetic shielding, and physical shielding. We need a brain scan when we get back to the nearest dock. What do you think it is? I've looked through so many records and reports, I draw a blank. What we can see from the drone is that it appears to be very ordered in appearance, which makes it appear as though it's man-made, or at least intelligence-made. I don't want to say it's a weapon, but at the very least it's an area denial device, very capable of affecting humans at the mental level, and from a distance of a few kilometers. Rock in a hard place. If it is a weapon, it's here for a reason. So, what is that reason? If it's alien, should we leave it to fall into the hands of unknowns? Exactly. Regardless, can't stay here. We've been here for 2 weeks and moved away from the site. We didn't see it on our way down here originally, but we do pick it up as an anomaly on the sensors now. Ram Tah, we should inform him, see if he's interested, or can shed light on it. I'm not sure it's Guardian. We're in the wrong area, but I do trust him more than the alternatives. 3 days later, the Asp arrived and requested docking at Phoenix Space. Gently touching down, like many ships had before it, no fanfare or drama. The difference was that the Asp was met near the pad by Ram Tah himself, rather than his many apprentices. Eros and Sima stood across from a table in a meeting room. Ram Tah stood opposite, leaning on the table, looking at the display. It is most unusual, Eros, that you come to me, though the data packet you sent me was most interesting. I've heard of your antics, performing an ergosphere flight. He chuckled in disbelief and held his chin. The flying was performed by Sima here. Sima nodded and smiled. So, any ideas based on that snippet what it might be? Well, it is hard to say. You didn't really send much, although I can tell you 2 things. It isn't Fargoid or Guardian. The signatures just don't really match. Fargoid systems, by their very nature, are quite organic, and are thus quite imperfect. Sort of ironic, really. Guardians are almost robotic, in fact, completely robotic. It's quite like our own systems, really. Perfect. The data you sent me, it's a mix. So probably human, then, Sima said quickly. Well, by deduction, it's hard to claim anyone else built it other than us, but that too isn't clear. If I could have a complete data set, it would be most useful. Eros placed a small storage device on the table and pushed it over. Ram Tah took it and plugged it into the desk. A flurry of screens lit up. Ram Tah, initially frowning, turned his expression to one of shock. Oh my, this thing. He sucked his lip and brought his finger to it and ran the nail across. This is really bad, extremely dangerous. You saw visions? Chaotic thoughts? Yes. It is emitting what looks like an inverted mental map. I don't think this device is human, although it is designed to affect humans. The pattern is just so obvious. It's been years since I've looked at mental mapping for AI-assisted flight control, but even an undergrad could identify that as a mental map. Isn't that illegal? Sima asked. The AI, I mean. And what is a mental map? It's about as illegal as you can get. It's why I don't work on it anymore. Ram Tah paused, seeing Eros wanting to answer the second question. A map is like taking a snapshot of somebody's thoughts process, memory, and freezing it in electrical signals. I've never seen one of these before. I was a gravimetrics student, not a biological science one. My guess at danger is that that thing is projecting a somewhat destructive map on anyone or anything who gets close. Ram Tah was looking at the data and making some preliminary analysis. I think it's a telepathic weapon. I mean, well, telepathy doesn't really exist, but this is near as you can get to the description. We could never get the electromagnetic fields to project correctly, to oscillate or to be of high enough magnitudes to induce anything more than a god helmet effect, he replied, looking up for only a few moments. The god helmet is ancient. It's a fun parlor trick and still requires basically a full head contact and an enclosure. This had the works, though. Full outer body experience with chaotic thought and memory recall. It was horrible, Eros replied, Sima nodding along with him, having experienced it to the point of incapacitation. Please, tell me you destroyed it, Ram Tah asked. That is a negative, Sima replied. Oh, okay, well, you need to get back there and destroy it. It is an incredibly valuable artifact, but it's far too dangerous to even exist. Unless someone else skimmed the transmission or tracked you, or happened to pick up the unusual signals while passing through the system, only us three should know about it. I don't want that thing anywhere near human space, let alone near me. Other than a powerful conventional shield or frameshift field, I have no other idea how one could neutralize the effect. You have a good setup on that asp, and even you report seeing some residual bleed through. Sorry to do this, but you have to get back out there as soon as you can. Alright, but first we need a brain scan for Seema and I. Check for oddities and damage. Absolutely.